Hey guys, it's Candy in the Land of Sushi. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the pros and cons of living in Tokyo. But before I begin this video, I just want to clarify that although I live in Kanagawa Prefecture, I live closer to Tokyo. I think I am on the northeastern part of Kanagawa Prefecture, so I am around 25 to 28 minutes to Shibuya. I just ride one train that takes me all the way to Shibuya. That's why I somehow consider myself living in Tokyo. Again, although I don't live in Tokyo, like technically live in Tokyo, somehow I consider myself living in Tokyo. Yeah, I'm so happy to make this video because I think in the past, when I was still starting out, I interviewed my friend who lives in Kawasaki City and we compared like the pros and cons of living in the countryside and in the city. Now that I live in the city, you know, it's a different experience because it's a first-hand experience. So yeah, I'll be sharing everything to you in this video. So if you want to know more about the pros and cons of living in the city, then please keep on watching. I'd like to start with the cons first. Sorry, I have a notebook. I listed all the pros and cons in my notebook so as not to forget anything. So for the cons, temptations are everywhere. Shopping, entertainment, food, restaurants, coffee shops, name everything, Tokyo has it. If money is not an issue, then that's not bad. But if you are kind of saving, then that's not good. So in the end, for me, it's harder to save here in Tokyo. I'm not saying it's not doable at all, you know, you can just stay at home so as not to get tempted with all the things around you. Next, I noticed that it takes time to get paperwork and documents done. Like for example, when you go to the city hall, expect like a lot of people. When I was living in the countryside, in a matter of like 10 minutes, I get it. I can immediately get it. But here, since a lot of people live in the city, registering my residence, I think it took me half a day. I remember 6 years ago when I registered at the city hall in Suwa, it didn't even take an hour. So yeah, it takes time to get paperwork done. Next, my security here in the city is a bit compromised. I haven't mentioned this to you guys or to my followers on Instagram. Around the Golden Week last month, me and my friend, we took the last train going back to my apartment, and I told her to stay with me because it's not safe for her to go home to Yokohama. It's a far commute from Shibuya to Yokohama. So I offered her my place to stay for the night. And then at around 1, we got home at around 1, and then somebody knocked on our door. To make the long story short, we got a bit stalked. I don't know. More of that in another video. I will talk about this incident. Like it's one of, I think it's the worst night for me in Japan. Yeah, I'm gonna talk more about that in another video, but yes, I think security is a bit of an issue, at least for me. Next, number 5, I noticed that like school lunches in the countryside are so much better, so much fresher and more delicious. Like comparing to my school lunches here, like the breads and like the vegetables, they're not fresh. Some of them are packed, but in the countryside we get to eat like really fresh, and you really notice, you know, the texture is different. So in terms of school lunches, the countryside is better than the city. Next con, driving here in the city is crazy. I've driven once. We went to Tochigi, we rented a car. I drove from Tokyo to Tochigi, and my gosh, it was so difficult for me because it was my first time. The roads are so wide and there are a lot of forks, lots of traffic signs, and yeah, it was just crazy. For me, driving in the countryside is more relaxing and less stressful. Okay, now let's go to the good part, the pros of living in the city. So for me, The pros of living in the city: number one, you get to meet more people. I think in April, I trained to be a speaking examiner. So I went to that training and I met a lot of people who are also in the same field. Some of them are university teachers, they teach in private schools and public schools. It was a good experience, and I realized that it's really easy to connect with people here in the city. And also there are like apps or a website called Meetup. If you feel like you want to join a meetup, then you can sign up for it, and you can meet other people to expand your network, to connect to other foreigners living in the city as well. And next pro, you have like a lot of food choices here. Like in the countryside, it was very tough for me to think of what to eat next, but here in the big city, it's very easy because I can order through Uber Eats. There are restaurants everywhere. They have a wider variety, more selection here in the big city. Next is entertainment. I remember in the countryside, all we had was a karaoke. Yeah, those karaoke chains. But here in the big city, you can go to concerts, you can go to stadiums, or you can go to game centers, you can go and play at like Round One. The activities are endless here. Yeah, it's impossible. It's really impossible to get bored here in the city. Unless, you know, it's your personal choice not to go out and stay home. Next, I noticed that people speak better English. Of course, now that I am in Tokyo, I noticed that especially the younger ones, like in their 20s, they can speak better English. And I also noticed that when I registered at the city hall, their digital forms are also in English, so it was really easy for me. I did it alone, but in the countryside, all forms are in Japanese. Last week, I went to the doctor, and the doctor can speak English, like fluent English. Also, when I updated my driver's license, the port where you input your information, they have an English version or an English tab, so that it was really easy for me to update my license because I can understand everything. But in the countryside, I remember updating my license, it was still like the old way of updating your license, like all in Japanese, like even the lecture was in Japanese. So yeah. One tip, before you choose a clinic, of course, not all doctors here in Japan can speak English, especially I think the older ones, even in the big city. So my tip, when you like choose a clinic, be sure to check their Google reviews. Go to Google Maps and check the reviews, find out if they have good reviews. I think if you choose the younger doctors, there is a high probability of them being able to speak English. So when I saw his face on Google Maps on the website, I felt like he can speak English, so that's why I went to his clinic, and true enough, he can speak fluent English. So yeah, those are the pros and cons of living in the city. I can say that it's really, really convenient living here in the city, but if you want to save, it's harder to do it here in the city. Like in summary, we all have different goals. So if you think that you want to like meet more people, if you want more convenience, then I think living in the city is for you. On the flip side, if you want nature, if you want a more calm environment, safer environment where you can save more money, then I think living in the countryside is for you. Do I miss the countryside? I haven't missed it yet. I haven't thought about going back to visit yet because I'm still so much distracted by all the things around me, like meeting new people and expanding my network. I'm busy with a lot of stuff, and I'm also busy creating content on Instagram. Yes, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this helps everyone thinking about moving to the countryside or moving to the city. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and of course don't forget to press that bell notification button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. That's it, you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next vlog. Goodbye.